Pompey Sound, your hourly update from Fratton Park, sponsored by Piglet's Pantry, the home of award-winning and handmade food on the South Coast.
Pompey manager John Messineo is expecting a moderate shake-up at Fratton Park this summer, with the club looking at various recruitment options including free agents, permanent transfers and loans. Speaking to the BBC, Messineo acknowledged the heightened activity during this period, but stressed that the club is in a comfortable position after securing their championship status, allowing them to be patient with their transfer dealings. "We're keeping tabs on several players, but there's no need to rush," he explained. "We've got our eye on a few free agents, but we'll likely mix that with some paid transfers and loan signings." On the topic of the club's retained list, Messineo felt the decisions made were straightforward. Despite Kusini Yengi's crucial role in last season's League One triumph with 13 goals, his struggles this term, going goalless in 14 appearances, led to his release. "Kusini was key to our promotion, but this season just hasn't worked out for him, partly due to injuries. We felt it was best to let him explore other opportunities, especially as we're well covered up front." Left-back BRAMELL, who joined in January on a short-term deal, is also moving on. "Cohen made a real impact during his time here, helping us stay up and bringing great energy to the squad," Messineo said. The club remains hopeful of extending keeper Ben Killip's stay and has triggered Zach Swanson's contract extension. Zach's made 24 starts this season, and has shown he can handle the championship level, noted Messineo. Looking ahead to transfer activity, Messineo emphasized a measured approach. "We're not in any desperate situation. We'll likely wait to secure new signings before letting others go. It won't be as dramatic as the last couple of summers with 14 new faces, but it won't be just one or two either, probably somewhere in between." The club maintains interest in Bristol City's Rob Atkinson following his successful loan spell. "We're open to bringing Rob back, but it's in Bristol City's hands right now," Messineo said. "Their playoff miss might affect things, but we'll see how it plays out."
Like every Pompey fan we know, everyone at Pompey Sound is enormously impressed with John Messineo. And there are occasions when the manager has clear thoughts and expresses them lucidly, but without being overly florid or overly eloquent, just explains clearly what the thinking is and how much care and concern and consideration has been given to that thinking, and then the execution of that thinking, and then into explaining all of that, leaves the fan feeling nothing more or less than totally and utterly reassured. So what's he saying in a nutshell? That they're looking at a number of players, free agents, loan transfers and transfer signings. Of course they are. Those are the only three options that are available to you, unless you're going to go and scout some 17-year-old off the pitch up the road. And of course, that's just being silly. So what he's saying is keeping all the options open, not going to give any idea of what cards we've got in our hand and what cards we're hoping for next time we're dealt a new hand, not letting on anything, but at the same time making it clear that what is being done to the highest set of standards, really the highest possible set of standards. And we've got the backroom team that are doing that, the recruitment unit and the manager, the head coach, and all the people around him, right the way up to the CEO and the owners, are all now pulling in the right direction together. And it's a good direction, and we should be very happy and very excited about the coming season. In his regular slot on Pompey Sound, Steve Bone this week is talking about the challenges facing Pompey's recruitment team in inducing players to come and play at Pompey if they know that they won't be the first pick for their preferred position. Colby Bishop, for example, is probably our most irreplaceable player.
Probably is, yeah. And that's a difficult sort of role to sell, isn't it? Really,
it is.
You've got to be honest with the player, or even if you're not totally honest with the player will ask questions. The player and his agent will want to know where he's going to fit into things, especially if he's if it's a good experienced player they're looking at, someone who's played at Championship or League One level. They're not going to want it's going to be hard to find a striker who is good enough and with enough experience who would be willing to come to a club where he's not going to get regular games.
You can hear Steve's regular piece going out at various times, day and night, on Pompey Sound. You can also podcast him. If you have a podcast service such as Spotify or Apple, just search Pompey Sound's podcasts, and you'll find his words of wisdom and plenty other words of wisdom as well. So it will be tricky. Bringing in a striker, we'll need one, to either act as support for Colby Bishop or to be Colby Bishop if Colby Bishop, perish the thought, gets injured or suspended, both of which is perfectly plausible. So you'll be bringing somebody in having made it clear to them that unless they decide to play two at the front, which is conceivable on occasions, they will be at best starting on the bench. So you've got to be a particular type of player with a particularly acute understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses to put up with that.
Cohen Bramell's Pompey future might not be over just yet, despite being released from Fratton Park. The former Arsenal fullback, who joined from Rotherham in January and made 12 appearances, was one of 5 players let go this week. But manager John Messineo hasn't completely shut the door on a potential return. With Conor Ogilvie and Jacob Farrell already on the books as left-backs, Pompey seems well covered in that position. However, Messineo hasn't ruled out bringing Bramell back later in the summer if circumstances allow. We haven't completely closed the door on Cohen for the summer. While we're really happy with our 2 contracted left-backs, we appreciate Cohen's versatility in different positions. He did a fantastic job for us during his time here, and I honestly think he's good enough to land himself another championship club. The manager's been particularly impressed with his adaptability during his short stint on the South Coast, suggesting there might still be a role for him at Pompey if the transfer window plays out favourably.
There's increasingly no doubt, is there, that John Messineo likes players who are fluid, flexible, adaptable, can play in one of several positions, not just from game to game, but during a game. That kind of adaptability is something that Bramell has shown, because he's played at left back, he's gone bombing on through midfield, and then he's gone wide left and covered and gone beyond, on occasions, Josh Murphy, and done it well and got the cross in, got the final ball in. So we may not be using him, if he stays, as a shadow left back. We may be using him as a shadow left back, shadow left-sided midfield attacking player. The way the guy plays, he could go in goal, play centre half, be centre forward. He is that adaptable, and that is exactly the kind of player that we're starting to understand John Messineo wants all over the pitch.